Alright, this thing has year-old ethanol and a hurt motor. See if it starts. Is the battery dead? No, it's not. Oh. It's a little dead. Oh, ooh. There's definitely an exhaust leak now too. Where did that come from?
Who was the last person that drove this?
Brian.
Brian, you broke the exhaust.
No way.
Sounds like a tractor.
Sounds like a tractor.
Am I in the shop or am I on the farm?
Oh, the wastegate's falling off. That's why it sounds so bad.
Oh, got you a jacket. Big AV.
This thing's heavy.
That thing looks fresh on you. That's OG Larry's though.
This is OG Larry's?
Yeah, that looks good on you though.
Like that? What is up, everyone? So today we decided to give some love to the sun. Ready yet? Let her eat. Alright, so last video you guys saw that we just came back from Florida and we gave like a shop update of everything going on, right? I talked about the big thing right now is the chaser, but we can't work on the chaser until my transmission shows up from Florida. So we're kind of in this limbo of waiting for that to happen. And of course picking up my 8.6, which is almost done. We could probably get that in a couple days, which is really exciting. But I want to make use of the time, and I realize that the season is upon us. We have like 2 months until like all car stuff happens, and well, I don't want Nissan to sit this season out like we did last season, right? It just wasn't in the cards for us last season, but this season I really would love to show Nissan some love. You guys don't know this car. This is a real drive 2000 Civic that me and Brian did almost a year and a half ago, maybe almost 2 years ago, which feels insane. And it's probably one of the coolest things that we've ever done. It's an insane accomplishment. I'm so proud of this car, and it's super cool. But if you recall, the engine's hurt because this is a completely stock KA. All we did was take a KA, we dressed it up. The motor was always, it probably has 230,000 miles on it. When I got it, I had 30 videos of the previous owners doing burnouts on it, and it had a rough life. We slapped the turbo on it, I put on ethanol, and it held up for a little while. It started to smoke really bad, run inconsistent, and we realized the motor was hurt. So a couple months ago, we put this thing on the dyno, and we tried to blow it up.
Did not happen.
And it refused to blow up. Well, at least catastrophically, right?
Decided to perform.
It decided to perform. The thing was making 450 horsepower on a stock motor over and over and over and over. Wow, we did like what, 15 pulls?
Yeah.
And then we took it out. Brian beat the crap out of it on the road. I was ready for it to spill its guts all over the downtown, but it never did. So that being said, to make this thing into the next level of where it needs to be, it needs a built motor, because I want to be able to make 450 horsepower all the time, no worry, and have it, you know, actually be consistent. So, and it can't, and it's got to stop smoking because it's so embarrassing. This thing looks like a 2-stroke that you put way too much oil in. So, things sound rough. KAs don't sound good with exhaust leaks. Burnout right now? My face the whole time was like,
It's a problem.
hey, it did it. How are we looking, Stone?
He wants to blow it up.
It's sparking out the wastegate.
It's not that I forget how cool this car is, but every time I see it, like, especially from underneath, because underneath is like, come on, this car. We definitely built something pretty damn cool. This car, I'll tell you what, it burnt me out though. The amount of work it took us to get this thing going and the time that we did while doing this and everything else was just It was something else, but today we're gonna show her some love and hopefully the love continues. So, man, the big thing about this is, you know, the KA and everything fits in there really tight. You know, we had to put a trans tunnel in this thing. It barely fits between the existing rails. And so it's all really tight, which means when we pull it, it's kind of a pain in the ass. And everything's tucked and pretty. And so we're gonna be dropping this one from the bottom, and it's very intricate. So I've been kind of dreading this day, but I'm happy we got the motivation today. So, Tone, you ready?
Should be a walk in the park.
Good attitude. Watch, there's just no oil in it.
Oh man, that looks bad.
What'd you expect? You also gotta remember, it hasn't had an oil change in so long, so there's a lot of ethanol in the oil, and it's probably not. Look at that. I mean, it's not like the motor's knocking or anything, but
Yeah.
the oil, Steve, smells like it's like half ethanol.
Let me get a whiff of that. Oh yeah. It was like a Moscow mule.
We knew this thing was burning oil, but it only has like 2.5 quarts in it. This poor thing. Look how beautiful this exhaust is. Alex from Stay Gold killed it. Biggest pipe we could fit under this thing was 2.5. So that might be our power restriction, but we saw it made 400 with this exhaust. Might not make it super efficiently, but it's gonna make it. We'll see. The only thing that sucks though is we're gonna blow this trans up eventually. I think it already has a grind, which it's a KA trans, it'll grind. But if you gotta replace the trans, you gotta pull the whole drivetrain because it's so tight in here, dude. Like, this is like the longest drive shaft ever. It might not look it, but look at that thing. Right, this is how crazy this is, right? Because we constantly talk about how Civic looks small, right?
Yeah.
It's an S13 drive shaft.
Significantly
Is
larger.
that crazy?
Yeah.
It's a long car. All right, well, we got a bunch of stuff to unbolt, so Tone,
Time lapse.
let's get to it.
Yeah, I got a nice cut.
Look at that piece, dude. Alex killed it on that one. Maybe we'll update the gate on that thing too. Dude, it sucks, cause like the manifold on this thing is so trash. This is literally I think it was $50 on eBay. I had to modify it heavily, but it was the only manifold I could find that actually put the turbo farther forward because all of them usually put them too close to the booster right here. So I would love to upgrade the manifold because it's just,
What'd you do? Weld something onto it?
dude, I had to weld a lot of material onto it because it was just missing material to actually cover the full exhaust port. So it would be really dope to throw like a G series on this thing. That would really put it over the top. Because I know everyone's like, oh, put a K series in, put a K series in, but the chassis is kind of made around the KA. To put a K series in it, it wouldn't really work without having to really redo almost everything.
Yeah. And
I really like the fact that it's KT. I think that's super dope. And so I want to make this work, but we might have to upgrade the exhaust components.
Do it.
Brian!
What are you doing?
We're touching this Honda today.
How did it look? You looked at it?
Underneath it looks beautiful still.
Sick.
So I figured the season's gonna come up very quick.
Yeah.
And so we might as well get the engine sent out to get rebuilt ASAP.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Right?
I love this car.
It's just such a pain in the ass to pull this engine.
You know what's funny? Me and Jimmy hated this car for like a couple
6 months, yeah.
No, I'm saying like towards the end.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the end, we were like, but now, you know, now that the Band-Aid's been pulled off for a while, it was a lot of work.
For sure. Whatever. She deserves it. She deserves the attention, and it'll be a good season for Honda. What is he pulling out of his truck? What do you got there, B?
Dude, I grabbed some stuff for my car. Some chrome baby.
Okay.
I haven't cleaned them yet, but
Damn. Those things are spicy.
they're spicy. They've been sitting on ice in somebody's garage for 20 years. But the chrome is perfect. It's just the bolts have rusted a little bit.
Okay. So
But,
Brian wanted to get himself like kind of like a Hot Boy set of wheels to just kind of like, I feel like you need one like Hot Boy set of wheels for your drift car.
Oh yeah.
That you can like mob around in, and then, you know, when time comes, you could just obviously swap them out. But so what are these?
These are Speedline Alessios or SL978.
Never heard of them. But anything 5-spoke, I love. So nice work.
Yeah, they're 18 by 9, 18 by 10, 5 by 120.
Can't wait to see them on.
Yeah, me too.
Alright, so all of the suspension is unbolted, subframe, power brace, trans, everything. So if we did this correctly, we should be able to raise the car up, drivetrain will stay, and hopefully nothing gets ripped out or destroyed. But everything's, there's not much to it, so it should be pretty good. So. Yeah. Just let it go. Hold on, let me make sure it's, so one of the big things we've done this before is you gotta make sure that it's still balanced on the lift, because we've dropped front subframes and the cars just wanna go on the lift. So quick little test shake. Car's still good to go, so send her home. I've definitely been stuck here like by myself, like holding on the cars.
Damn.
That's it.
She's out.
Isn't that such a crazy look just watching the cars?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Alright, so this is the drivetrain for this Honda right here. Obviously we still have to take it off the suspension, take the trans off, the clutch off, flywheel, get on a stand, do all of that before we could even begin to take this thing apart. But man, I'm curious to see what the inside of this motor looks like. I have a feeling the bottom end might be pretty mint still, which is kind of crazy to think about. But either way, she needs a built heart, so we could push her and not even have to think about it. So let's get this thing unbolted.
Let's do it.
So many parts, so many things. Why does it take so much to put a car together? Cars are such a pain in the ass, aren't they, Steve?
Yeah.
They're worth it though. They'll just drive you crazy though.
For sure.
But once they're together, worth it.
It's a blast.
It's a blast. Once you're done.
Once you're done. You guys go through a lot to get these things together.
Isn't that crazy to think about how many parts and components it takes to get a car to just like
I need the world to know this.
insane.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Worth it.
Painstaking.
Wiggle it off. Hey, keep wiggling. Keep wiggling. Keep wiggling. Why does this not want to come out? That was interesting. I'll tell you what, which is crazy. This thing, like we said before, made like 450 horsepower, and I think that action clutch is technically only rated for like 300. It held it. Definitely held it down.
Sure did.
Love our action around here. Remember, guys, if you need a clutch, Action Clutches, discount code Jimmy O, 10% off. Season's coming.
Don't sleep.
We have like a month and a half until the season kind of starts, so don't sleep. 10%
Get
off.
yourself.
Flywheel clutch kit combo, 10% off.
Jimmy
That's
O.
a decent amount.
Tone knows.
Was this what we're doing?
This is a muck water. I don't think I blew the head gasket, but the cooling is not
Yeah,
good.
it's unreal.
It's an iron. All right, first off, it's an iron block, right? So we ran basically just straight water in here, which you'll get the mucky water because it just rusts.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff on the hoses was questionable, especially for a motor that probably had, very little miles on it. Because we cleaned it out when we put it in. But maybe the head gasket was pushing. I don't know.
What was this engine from?
A really piece of shit S14. It was rough. All right, so we went to Harbor Freight and there's no engine stands. Sick, right? So that's a problem for tomorrow, Jimmy, but for now, engine's out. Super happy. It's nice because it's a very simplistic setup, right? It's just basically a long block with accessories, that makes no sense, but whatever. There's not much to the KA, which is super cool. So tomorrow we'll take it all apart. We'll see what's wrong with it. Might just be a small tear of the head gasket, could just be bad valve seals, or it's a cracked piston. We don't know, but I'm very curious to find out. And I'm really hoping we could reuse this engine, because it would be really dope to kind of keep the life of this KA continuing. For some reason, the crank on the KA they don't age very well. So we'll see if this one's good. So besides that, I mean, it's really cool to touch this on. I'm really pumped about it. The chassis is really clean still. I mean, we didn't drive it much, so not expecting that. But this is the second time the engine's been out of it. So when you take things apart and put them back together, you always end up scratching stuff and breaking stuff, right? It's only part of it. So what's nice is we don't really have to do much to the chassis. Like I want to spray. I don't know why I forgot to paint this, but paint that. Maybe do some touch-up paint on where the paint chipped because of the mounting brackets, and besides that, it's really all we have to do. It's not like we have to do anything crazy to the chassis, so we'll see. I feel a little guilty that we're gonna put a stock trans behind it, but we're kind of limited to it because of the sizing, but it doesn't get enough traction anyway, so I'm gonna shut up. But for now, I hope you guys are excited and Nissan's gonna get some love. We'll get this thing apart, send it all out to JP because I have all the internals in a box. I have bearings, piston rods, I have main studs, I have head studs, I have a head gasket. Like I have everything. I have cams, I have valve springs, everything. So the hard thing has been getting parts lately, and so I have them. So we're squared up. So besides that, no, I'm not putting an SR in it. We've talked about this. Stay in KA. And no, I'm not putting K series in it. that's what the 8.6 is for, which we'll be picking up very shortly. So I'm gonna stop rambling on, and I think we're gonna end the video here. So you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. Steve,
Have a great day.